Now, that's an extremely serious issue. Ashley Madison. We've had the founder, Noel Beedham, and he's a nice man. I mean, I don't agree with him, but he's a nice man. Had him on the show a few times. But Ashley Madison has gone all political. The site that people go to for affairs if they're married, so they can commit adultery, has become political. Brim Wiest joins us now to explain how this happened, and I hope he's going to name a few names, and I hope they're important politicians too. So, who's been caught with their hand in the cookie jar, if that isn't a very, very ugly phrase to use in this context?
Michael, I wish I had some names for you, but of course, as you can imagine, Ashley Madison prides itself on its privacy and the anonymity of its members. But what we do know, Michael, is that back in fiscal year 2011, a government worker here in British Columbia used a corporate credit card, a public credit card funded by the taxpayers of British Columbia, to pay $301.27 to Ashley Madison for services. Now, obviously, as I said, Ashley Madison won't say who that employee is, but I had an interesting chat earlier today with Paul Keeble. He's a vice president of communications with Ashley Madison, and he said, look, using a public corporate credit card is wrong, not because it's an abuse of public money, Michael, but rather it's easy to get caught. Let's listen.
Well, let me first say, obviously we couldn't confirm or deny that the charge is in fact us without seeing any documentation, and even so we wouldn't, because our members' anonymity and privacy is of the utmost concern for us. That said, we would obviously advise our members not to use a government credit card, or for that matter, any non-personal credit card, mostly because of the first instances, this is the easiest way to get caught. $301.27, that's what you said?
Yes.
That would likely be a combination of one or two charges, because it's a credit-based system, so it's not like a membership. We operate a little differently than a lot of other dating websites. There's no monthly fee. You pay per contact. So that's likely, off my head, probably our 100 credit package plus our mobile application connection package.
Well, that's a lot, lot of adultery there. Didn't he just ooze integrity? Oozed it.
Yeah, and I think certainly there are still some questions beyond what Ashley Madison does. They have a service that obviously people criticize quite frequently for the service they provide. But beyond that, the question here, Michael, still remains, what happened with this government employee who accidentally used the government card? And as we heard there, Ashley Madison won't confirm the account, but the Ministry of Children and Family Development, Michael, note the irony here. It was an employee in that ministry that used the card for Ashley Madison services, and the ministry today did acknowledge to us that, yes, this was a fraudulent expense and it's been reimbursed. According to Sheldon Johnson, he's a spokesperson for the ministry, Michael, he said, quote, "It was a fraudulent charge and it was reversed. It was dealt with a long, long time ago. Whether somebody accidentally grabbed the wrong card, I don't know. I don't delve into people's personal lives." He went on to say, "I don't know whether someone in the ministry is having an affair. I have no idea. It's none of my business." But the truth, Michael, is that it is all of our business if that money was reimbursed or not. So we've asked the ministry for proof that this $301, sure, it's not a huge amount of money, but we've asked for proof that this money was reimbursed to the ministry so that public taxpayers here aren't footing the bill for someone in the Ministry of Family Development to have extramarital affairs. Actually,
it is a huge amount of money. There are people who work minimum wage right now. I can think of one who's very, very dear to me, and they get up at 4 in the morning to go and open coffee stores, and luckily if they earn that in a week. And you should be looking into personal lives if it's a family ministry, and this is typical now, I'm afraid, of how government works. The assumption is whether you want to go and have a cheaper fare and get an STD, or have a nice meal, or even a trip to South Africa. The public will always pay for it. Good reporting. We will keep on with this because we were there very early in breaking this story. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. And don't you spend any public money.
I won't. Certainly not on Ashley Madison.